Hey, what's up everybody? Today I want to talk about a production technique, and that is clipping. And more specifically, I want to talk about using clipping in the way of a sound design effect. Typically when you hear about clipping, it's in reference to like a soft clipper or a hard clipper, and that would go on something like drums or on your master bus, and you're essentially lobbing off the transients and just overall makes the elements just a lot bigger and a lot beefier. So I've got a track here by Paramore called Decode, and I'm gonna go to the ending section of this song where they basically clip the last 3 hits of the song, resulting in a very cool overloaded kind of sound that jumps out of the speakers. So yeah, I think this is very cool. I think the typical sentiment for something like this is that most commercial pop mixes default to just a large sound, but it being very clean, not with any sort of like dirty clipping or distortion going on. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up a track by one of my bands here and try to recreate a similar effect at the end. Now, I don't know exactly how they achieved this inside of the studio, but I'm sure there's multiple ways to go about doing it. The way that I'm doing it here is a simplified version, and I think works, but you can probably achieve this through ways of like doubling up bass or doubling up your guitars or putting like octave pedals and just pushing that volume super high, going into a clipper, and so on. So I'm gonna go to the end of the track here and let you take a listen so you can get a general idea of what's going on here. So essentially what I have done here, very simple. I've got a clipper on top, and then I've got an EQ, super simple, and the only thing that I'm doing to achieve that is simply automating the low end. I guess I did it at 67. I'm actually kind of surprised I didn't bring that up a little bit higher, but yeah, so all that sub information might even be a little bit cooler to bring it up some, but I just went ham, you know, basically brought that all the way up to an abnormal level. I engaged the clipper here. Obviously, you know, you might not typically do this when you're inside this mix and you want to do this because this would probably be on all the time, but for this instance I'm just automating it on. And yeah, so let's take another listen here. Alright, that's a little bit too extreme. I'm gonna bring this down just a little bit now that I've got this up to about 100. I'm gonna maybe do something like that. There we go. That's pretty cool. So there's a lot of different ways that you could go about doing this, but for now I kept mine pretty simple just to throw that EQ on going into the limiter, and I think it got pretty close. But the main thing that I want you to take away from this is that clipping is cool, and it can be used in so many different ways, and it can be used as a sound design tool versus it just being something that you use to lob off your transients to make things louder. And I think if you are operating in a genre to where things are extreme, or you want to have a larger than life element, it's okay to push for this. Not everything has to be super clean. You don't always have to be pushing for every mix or song to have the maximum amount of clarity and the most optimal low end and all of this shit. It's just more or less of just think outside the box. Think of when this might suit you well to be a cool sound design inside your song. It's just about vibe. So yeah, give this a shot in one of your tracks and let me know what you think. If you have any ideas that you can think of, or any other tracks that have this stylized effect in them, or maybe like the whole track is just like doing it, put it down below in the comments and I'll check it out. And then also comment if you have any other production ideas that you want to talk about or hear. But yeah, until then, don't be a dork and make cool